Hello, and welcome to Generation Flex, where we bring generationally diverse perspectives to life's burning challenges. I'm your host, Melissa Donaldson. Thanks for tuning in. Good health is currency for accomplishing just about anything: mind, body, spirit, plus home, workplace, school, relationships, finances, all of which I'm collectively calling comprehensive life health, ideally covering all the bases. But all-encompassing harmony can be a challenge at best and fleeting at worst. If health is wealth, how is it achieved internally and externally for an individual? Just how realistic is achieving comprehensive life health? Today's guests will break it all down. Joining me today are, from the silent generation, Valerie Tyler, fitness trainer, marathoner, and certified nutritionist. Baby boomer, Yvonne Taylor, yoga and Pilates instructor and a fitness coach. And from Generation X, Farah Harris, workplace belonging and well-being expert and author of the new book, The Color of Emotional Intelligence. Welcome, ladies. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
So when you heard this term, you're probably like, what the heck is this? This term, I just made it up. Comprehensive life health. What occurred to you?
All-encompassing.
Okay.
Was the word. Just thinking about the wellness wheel and all the things that come up from the wellness wheel. So it's like, oh, okay. Comprehensive, all-encompassing.
Say more about the wellness wheel. That actually didn't even occur to me.
Yeah, so there's different spokes of the wellness wheel, and sometimes they say that there's seven. So there's the financial, there's the relational, spiritual. I'm not gonna remember all eight because you don't put me on the spot. Right. You know, but there's all these different areas of our lives that if we don't take time to assess our well-being, sometimes we're better with our fitness than we may be with our finances, but to just make sure that we are assessing and addressing those issues around our well-being around those different spokes.
Well, look at here. Generation Flex is being more like on top of things than we thought.
Okay. I like that. Generation Flex. I'm
sharing that.
All right.
But it's really a balance, right?
It is.
It's a balance of everything. And when you look at your life holistically, you know, it's the mind, it's the body, it's the spirit, and then you have to go into some of the personal factors like relationships and finances and things like that. But you've got to kind of think about all those components and all those spokes on the wheel as you go through your day-to-day.
Yeah.
And pretty much how they fit together as you're going through your daily life. You know, you might be stressed out, which means your physical can actually be adversely affected because you might start getting headaches or things like that. And we also know that physically things happen in our bodies, like hormones, like cortisol starts to rise, and we'll
Arthritis, where's that fit in?
Awesome.
Office been knocking at the door.
That just shows up.
I know. Arthritis just kind of shows up on the scene, unfortunately, as we go through the aging process.
Yeah.
Just a wear and tear, like a car. You know, if we work our car a lot, after a while, we're going to have to go get it fixed, get a few things tightened, get a few things lubed. And in this case, with arthritis, we need to have a few things lubed to keep things moving.
And sometimes replacement parts.
Right. Again, a new model, replacement parts, and then we have to replace them. Well, no, then you become bionic.
That's right. That's right. So, this notion of holistic, the holistic approach. Can all of these things on the health wheel, wellness wheel, what is it called? Wellness wheel?
Wellness wheel.
Google it, y'all. Can all these things, can they really be managed well simultaneously?
Yeah, when you're on vacation.
I don't think the health part's that's probably the last one I'm thinking about on vacation.
Nutrition goes out the window, but everything else is just
It drives me to think about, I'm retired, but when I was working, I got a lot accomplished because I set goals. So when you set goals, you have something to focus on. And when you have something to focus on, you're driven to meet that goal, right? So you put it in front of you and you say, well, this is what I need to do. And so I had bucket lists, and I had short lists, and I had to-do lists, and all these things, and I kept them. I had to keep them in front of me, or else I'd lose focus. So I think focusing on goals is very, very important. And when you focus on those goals, you got to focus on all those parts of that wheel as well. You've got to think about all those pieces, because not that every day you're going to touch everything, but over a period of time, you just don't want to lose, touch or lose focus on specific things that you know that you need to accomplish. So when I think about it, I still write stuff down. But when I think about it, I write it down and then I try to get back to it and try not to lose it, keep it on top of mind.
You're just so inspiring. You don't even know.
I know.
You don't even know.
I don't know.
So when you talked about goals, I see you've got 2 medals here. These are 2 of, I'm sure, a whole room full that you have,
Yeah, I have a
because
bunch.
you're a marathoner and so forth. So talk about what it took to, first of all, what are the medals you have here, and then talk about the goals, some of the goals that you really had to focus on to make those happen.
Well,
and how long did it take you, Valerie?
It took me a long time.
Okay.
It took me a long time. I really didn't get into this I'm not going to let this be all about me, but I didn't get into this athletic challenge until I was 50. I was always athletic, always a tomboy, roller skating, skiing. I was doing anything anybody said, let's go do, but I was never really goal oriented until someone said, why don't you run a marathon? I didn't even know what a marathon was. And so then I ran my first marathon, and then I got, sort of like you said about biking, I got very addicted to running marathons. So I finally, one of these medals is the Boston Marathon, which you have to qualify for, and only 1/2% of the running population in the world qualifies to run this, because they make it a very, very challenging time that you have to meet per your age.
Wow. And how old were you when you did that?
I was in my 60s. And so I qualified 4 years, and I only went out there one time.
Okay.
Only
one time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I only went to run it one time.
Okay.
And then the
only.
other
Okay.
thing is, and that I'm very, very
Just
proud
one.
of, is the Ironman. So I was training people that do Ironman because I'm a trainer.
And tell a little
Certified
bit
trainer.
about what goes into what's the Ironman
Okay,
about?
so here's what an Ironman is for those of you that may not be familiar with triathlons. The Ironman is the ultimate triathlon. The ultimate. And so what it means is you have got to get in open water and swim 2.4 miles. Then when you finish that, you run out of the water. They help you get out of your wetsuit. They have people, a lot of volunteers. And you go and you get on all your bike equipment, your clip-in shoes, your helmet. You get on a bike and you ride somewhere between 112 and 116 miles. This is nonstop. Halfway through, you freshen up. They give you
That's like
new
from here to
bottles.
Indianapolis.
Then when you get off the bike, which took me about 7 hours, nonstop though, you're pedaling at 17, 18 miles an hour, up and down hills, because I did it in Chattanooga. And then you run a marathon. So it's nighttime, you've got a night light on your head, wrapped around your head.
What must that goal setting been like?
And you're- So
I need another goal.
when we talk about goal setting, I had a plan that I had to follow, but then I had to have a life.
Yeah.
I had to have a life.
Yeah, and you
Because
still had a career there.
This could stress you out.
Yeah.
Yes.
I worked out probably at least 4 or 5 hours a day, and on the weekends maybe 10 or 12 hours a day.
Oh my
Saturday
gosh.
and Sunday.
Serious.
Yeah, so this was a serious challenge.
So for
and I
those-
never am doing it again.
Well, you have,
but I'm very proud.
Been
of
there,
it.
done that.
And
You
I've
got
been there,
these
done
would be
that.
called
Proof.
receipts.
I'm
Yeah,
done.
I know. You got the receipts.
I know, receipts,
Okay, these are
right.
receipts.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But for those who do not have the same gene pool you got, like, how do you manage these? How do you address these simultaneously, or with any sort of consistency? So we talked about setting goals. Any other ideas?
That's pretty much the same thing that you do. I journal. And so you want to go into, find out what it is that you're really, really focused on. And you go, and I go into my journal, and I'm like, I really need to focus on getting more sleep. That's kind of one of my challenges because I work a lot of hours. I work in a lot of studios, and I do a lot of clients. So I'm always running in a different mindset. I'm running with my brain a lot. So what I have to do is I have to slow myself down, and journaling gives you an idea of like, oh my God, what was I doing today? And you kind of get to focus on, one of my goals is getting a little bit more sleep at night. So when I start to look through my journals and look through my day and see what I'm doing, I ask myself, where can you cut back? Find those things in your day. It's like, I do have a specific journal, and there's something in there it's called a not to-do list. What are the things that are eating up your time that you can let go of, or you can give, or you can offshoot it to someone else to do it, or you can just say, that's not really as important as I thought it was.
Encyclopedia of what not to do.
Exactly. So those are the things that will help you to try to round yourself out. Are you going to be perfect? No. But will you be able to get there? Yes, probably in smaller little chunks and things like that. So journaling is one more thing you can do.
Fire, what are you thinking? Thinking we need to catch up, right? I need to catch
my
up
thoughts may be a little different. Because I kind of veer away from balance, because balance means like everything is even, and I go more into the mindset of alignment. And so that there may be things in that wellness wheel that for you may need to like sleep. It's something where you need to make sure it's a priority, and it may be easier for me to have that rest to be there. So I don't necessarily have to work as much in that area, but finance may be an issue that I may need to work on. But they're all interconnected, right? Because if your job is stressing you out, your finances are probably stressing you out, or vice versa. So I just feel like taking that moment of journaling, of goal setting, I guess it's more of a combination of what has been said, where we can kind of have like a bird's eye view, like how do I want to be? Like how do I want to feel? What do I want my life to look like? And where in that wheel do I need to spend more time? Spiritually, do I need to spend more time? Physically, do I need to spend more time? And recognize that my wheel may look different from, the next person's wheel. But I need to make sure that it works. The wheel is working for me.
Exactly. Wow. So we got goal setting, journaling, and alignment. I was thinking integration as well. So, wow. Really good nuggets, and we're just getting started. We'll be back right after this message.
Hello, Chicago. Sufyan Sohel with CAN TV's Change Agents. Join me each week as we learn about issues facing Chicagoans and meet some incredible leaders working to bring positive change to our city. Tune in to CAN TV Channel 19, watch us live on cantv.org, or download the CAN TV Plus app. I'll see you soon.
Welcome back. Now, we've been talking about comprehensive life health, a term we just kind of invented, but it really does seem to be working here. So let's shift to another aspect, certainly on the wheel. There's a saying that says, do what you love and the money will follow. When you hear about vocational health, what comes to mind for you? How would you describe it?
I'm still working
on it. Is that on the wheel?
Right. It is on the wheel. And I'm still working on it as an entrepreneur to try to see what does that look like. As I was saying, how do you want to be? Because I do feel like we're in a society that's a lot about doing, right? You got to do this. You got to become this, but how do you want to feel and be while you are doing the thing? And so as an entrepreneur, where there's no 9 to 5, like you're constantly on, how do you set those boundaries so that you can be well, that you don't burn out? Many entrepreneurs burn out because often they're solopreneurs, so they don't have a team. And so for me right now, I'm still trying to figure out what that comprehensive life
But what's interesting about your generation versus my generation is when we graduated from college, all we wanted was a job.
Yeah.
We wanted to go and work for a good corporation that had a pension
And good benefits.
and good benefits.
But that's what I wanted too.
But your generation,
I wanted all of that. But I knew I wasn't going to get a pension because they already slowly were
they
phasing
got
that
rid
out.
of pensions, right?
Yes.
So a lot of people that I know, including my daughter, that are around your age, they think more entrepreneurish and as an individual business
Yes.
than we did. We were very dependent. We said we're going to start with a company, whether it be AT&T, IBM, Oracle, CDW, and we're going to ride that company. Digital, right. We're going to ride
It's
that
safe.
company for 40 years, 50 years. And they say we can retire at 65. We're retiring, we're out of here.
Yeah.
We got a good pension.
Yeah.
We go on into the horizon, living a good retirement life. Now, I think that
We, in
this
my
newer
generation,
generation, even you,
I know.
come out and say, what can I do that I have a passion for? So where do I see myself, and how am I going to get there? And
I think that comes with time. Because like as I said, when I graduated, and y'all can go ahead and do the math, 2001,
youngster,
it was, can you find a good job? Because you had loans and you had to pay
I see
back
what you're saying. So you had to work for a
You
period of
had
time.
to work so
Yeah.
that you can figure out how to pay back the loans.
I
And
pay back loans.
right.
Yeah.
And you wanted
Yeah.
that safety net,
Yes.
right? And I think the thing is that the work landscape has changed so much that the workers don't trust the companies
Exactly.
to care for them so that they
Yeah.
can just go to work, get their white picket fence, get their 2.5 kids and the dog. And now it's like, well, when are you going to lay me off? We're looking at Google, we're looking at
Yes.
Facebook, we're looking at all these
Yes.
major companies that are laying people off. So I think our generation, almost by force, have had to kind of go, well,
Kind of
what else?
pivot
Kind of
into-
pivot into
You have to take care of
entrepreneurship.
yourself because we don't know
Yeah.
if this company will.
So you take care of yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Say
But
that.
this brings up the point around the unhealthy workplace. Right? I mean, workplaces are necessary.
Exactly.
But I think to what you just described, people don't necessarily trust
They don't
a lot
trust.
of their workplaces.
Right.
So I know you do a lot of work with workplace well-being. So what do you see in terms of what is an unhealthy workplace?
A place where there's a lot of distrust, like distrust of management, distrust of care for their people. So we've been in this wonderful, fun time of a pandemic, and people are realizing they don't want to necessarily do life like they did pre-2020. I actually don't want to commute that long. I recognize that my mental health is better, that I actually am away from the stress of whether it's the commute, whether it's bullying and harassment. For all of us who are wonderful women of color and Black, I don't have to deal with those negative racial aggressions, at the comfort of my home.
Yeah.
But what I often see is that, they're not trusting their employees. They're either micromanaging. Employees feel like you hired me to do a job, but then you're not letting me do
You're not
the
letting
job.
me
You're not letting me
Exactly.
stretch. You're not letting me
Exactly.
stretch.
Yeah, yeah,
Or,
yeah.
there's
Yeah.
not a clear career path. I've
Exactly.
worked there before where you kind of hit the ceiling, go like, well, what's next? And it's a very flat organization. And so the lack of communication, there's a myriad of things that can cause the toxicity, but whenever I come in and I see quiet, and I'm doing a training and no one's saying anything, and I'm like, oh, y'all ain't safe to speak.
That part.
Yeah.
cannot
I even say
speak.
to
Right.
feel
There are-
comfortable.
there are
You're not
those-
speaking.
The interesting thing on that in our generation is we were what I call the crossover generation because I call us manual techno.
Say more about it.
Yeah.
We went from manually writing things in script to learning how to process digitally. So we lived in both worlds.
That's called digital immigrant.
Exactly.
There is a term for it.
Yeah.
It's called digital
And
immigrant.
so
Like
what-
we're migrating
into-
to the world of digital.
Exactly. So the interesting
versus
thing
a digital native, which would be probably
grew
a
up
Gen,
in it.
a
Yeah.
Gen X or a millennial.
more millennial.
We were immigrants
Yeah.
because we left the manual world, we entered the digital world. So as the as technology was growing and things like that, we were literally learning
Learning
it.
on it,
We
yeah.
were
Yeah.
learning it at the same time. I remember, and I'm not telling you my graduation date.
That's all right.
don't
We
need
know
to
what
do that.
generation you
Anyway,
are.
anyway, let's go.
Google it.
You had that
I
up front.
had a professor tell me, don't go to Xerox. Don't go to IBM. Don't go to those places because I promise you, those jobs are not going to be there. It was almost like he was
Very
a prophet.
forecasting.
I graduated.
I worked
and
for both of those companies.
Those jobs were gone.
Yeah.
He said, "You've just learned." I was on
These
the
companies
cusp.
are still here. Just to be clear, the companies are
They're still here, but
the jobs
but
we're working on is
but
gone.
the landscape is a lot different. And so
One
he was
great
saying,
companies.
you've learned this. We
Yeah.
learned entrepreneurship before it was called entrepreneurship. And we learned how to do those things. So I came from both sides of the street. I lived on both sides of the street. And so we went into jobs but unfortunately, we were experiencing exactly what you're saying now. It's like, do you really trust me? And I've experienced that. You've hired me to do this job. Why don't you trust me to do it? And then you're being micromanaged and things like that. And it isn't healthy. But we, as people of color, we know how to ride that surfboard.
Do we though? Because that brings me to another sort of pivot here, and that is around the physical, right? And you start to see people who, like you can see it on skin. You can see the stress coming out
Exactly.
in different
Eyes.
the eyes, and so let's talk a little bit about spend a little bit of time on that physical health, right? There's so much around body consciousness now.
Exactly.
And personally, I think in a very unhealthy way. So what do you all see, do you all think with respect to, how easy is it to achieve some level of physical health?
It's so easy to be defeated
Okay.
when you're in a corporate environment where it's toxic
And there's
where
cookies in
you're
the
not
break
getting.
room.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead, Valerie.
That's good.
I'm sorry.
That's good. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's good. But when you go and you give a presentation and nobody's listening
Or acknowledging, yeah.
or acknowledging
Yes.
or giving you
Yes.
eye contact
Yes.
or acting interested or caring when you start and when you stop. I mean, very distracted while you're presenting. And so there's subtle ways that when you're in environments that people can let you know that I'm trying to turn you off. I'm trying to shut you down. I'm trying to demoralize you. And if you let that, it will bother you.
Yeah.
But what you've got to do is get past it. And I used to go home and sometimes feel so defeated. And I would almost be depressed. That's the kind of feeling I would have. And then I said, I'm better than that. And then I kind of had to pull myself up.
Exactly. Yeah.
So my crutch or my go-to was I'd get up and run 6 or 8 miles every morning.
Yeah.
And what I do is use that time to emote, kind of clear my head, rebuild my confidence, rebuild my vigor and machu or whatever. And I'd get up and I'd come back and I'd take a shower, put on some clothes and go back out and do, say, they're not going to break me down. They're not going to break me down. And so you really have to figure out ways to, and I'm sure this is what you do with some of your corporate partners, is to get over that and not let it be something that pulls you down and makes you think that you're less than. You've got to figure out ways to keep your confidence up while they're pushing you down. And that happens so much in the corporate structure where minorities are not considered equal.
Yeah.
I have been blessed to be given a quote, and I do not know where I got this quote from, but what other people think about you is none of your business.
That's a good one.
And that's
a good one.
And I've really started to bring that. It's almost become a mantra for me. So I would say, that's not about me. That's about you. It's about your neighbor taking their garbage and putting it on your porch.
On your lawn.
And then you just say, oh, I'm so sorry. left this on my lawn? This isn't mine. You know, so it took me a while to get here, but I just simply don't have the bandwidth to give my brain over to somebody like that, or my emotion, or
That's a good thing.
it takes too much out of you, and I've had enough toxicity to deal with that it will take you down if you let it.
It will.
And I just am like, I refuse to let it. So to your other point about the workplace, I love what I do. And no matter what's going on around me, I love what I do more than I hate what's going on around me.
Oh, that's good.
Because here's the thing, I am of service. And what I'm doing, one road to success is to be of service. Give the best of yourself. They may expect one thing, but my goal is to go 110% above what you expected.
Wow.
And so when you're of service to some degree, and that's a level that you service at, it does come to you. It may ebb, it may flow, but you always have to say, you know, what is this trying to teach me? Sometimes the negativity of others may be teaching you something about yourself. I'm like, maybe I'm a little bit impatient, or okay, why am I being so sensitive? Because that was just not even in the ballpark or the realm of where I should even respond to that.
Why don't people do these things? Because all of you are saying there is an upside, right? There is a light. Why don't people do these things? Just quick.
Fear.
And actually 2 things came up as you were talking. You were specifically talking about boundaries, emotional and mental boundaries. And it's funny because with my therapy clients, I would give the example of the lawn. I'm like, what's on your lawn that doesn't belong to you? Make sure you give it back. You don't have to have a fence. You know exactly where to stop mowing.
That's
You know what I'm saying? So you know what the boundary is.
And you know what? And a lot of those sidewalks don't even belong to you. So you have to pay attention to what's yours.
Exactly, to what's yours. And then to what she said about running in the morning, like that's you found a healthy way to emotionally regulate. You know, so you were using your own EQ, which, you know, I could talk about forever. But it was just like, I think if we can do better at recognizing what our boundaries are, owning our stuff, giving whatever everybody else is, and finding healthy ways to process the emotions, we would do better. I think we have not learned healthy ways to process those emotions that we receive that make us feel bad about ourselves. We'll either drink, you know, have a lot of sexual partners, no disrespect to that, but, you know, unhealthy relationships, let's say that, you know, drink, smoke, but just do things.
You said it. We got it.
You know what I mean?
Stay right there. We'll be right back.
It's still honest, it's still thoughtful, and it's still definitely Chicago.
3, 2, 1.
Join me, Darius Hillman, for a brand new season of In the Arena, where we're bringing you compelling conversations with some of the most fascinating people our city has to offer. Right here on CanTV 19, on cantv.org, and the new CanTV Plus app.
Health and well-being can provide sustenance and grounding. The trinity of a harmonious life includes the mind, the body, and the spirit. Comprehensive life health enables you to fire on all cylinders consistently to accomplish many things. Each day brings a new challenge, but your mental, physical, emotional, and financial health are worth the focus and your effort. Start simply with taking an inventory of your life, including your relationships, your finances, your physical status, your work-life integration, and your mental fortitude. Regardless of the inventory results, give thanks and have gratitude for your resilience and for the victories, big and small. Stay positive, have faith, and make your tomorrow healthier than your yesterday. The choice is yours. Health is wealth. The wealth to spread love to yourself and to others. I'd like to thank my wonderful guests, Valerie, Yvonne, and Farah. Until next time, remember to live, laugh, and love.